Not a bad
Good
thing.
friends gotta have swag.
I like it. Maybe I'm just jealous.
Well, if you're jealous, I know what to do for you. Well, hey there. Thanks for joining us on the Bear Good Fruit podcast. My name's Ben.
And I'm Julie.
And we are excited for you to join us. And we have a third host this morning.
And we have a little guest. Meet our new puppy, Georgia.
Might be hard to see her.
Yeah, she's like blending in
She's
over
bundled
here.
up right now.
But
with her
she's
pretty little
asleep,
bow.
and we're not going to bug her because as soon as this puppy wakes up, the amount of energy she has is very fun. But it's going to be real hard for her not to want to chase after these wires.
Yes.
If she wakes up.
And it makes sense that she's sleeping now because she did not sleep at all last night.
Yeah, crate training's hard.
That's,
But I have to say, this time around versus Cotton 12 years ago,
yeah.
we've gone through children now. So to me, it was not as big of a deal. Versus with Cotton, I had never had something interrupt my sleep before in my life.
Oh.
And that was hard.
It was a disruption.
Yeah. But Jordan, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like infant stage.
Yeah, we've gone through this.
Done this
A few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let him cry it out.
Also, you took her out at 2 a.m. and I didn't.
I did.
So maybe
better.
That's why it wasn't so hard for me.
But yeah, we're excited that little Georgia's here. Backstory: our son Trent, born in Georgia, loves UGA. We have great friends of ours that live in Athens, and this dog was born on the campus of University of Georgia.
Yeah, in the vet office there. So.
Pretty awesome.
So
cool connection.
Georgia, and the boys gave her a middle name of Pepper. So kind of like a Carolina Reaper, she's our Georgia Pepper.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Georgia.
Yeah.
Happy to have you. First guest.
Hopefully you behave. Yeah, she's our first guest.
First official guest.
Yeah.
So if you know someone that wants to be a guest, subtle plug right there. But yeah, what are we doing today?
Today, we have a game.
We do have a game.
And our game this week is not just because we like sweets around here.
No.
We've picked this game because our topic today is going to be on a movie, and a particular movie that kind of revolves around sweets.
Yes, and a specific question that we will ask, because we're talking about doubts and stuff last week, so I figured we might have a question that's relevant to doubts and a perspective on those.
On that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. So at first, I have to test your knowledge
on sweets,
as I've rated our son's candy drawer. So quick parent hack.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, like, the backstory of the candy drawer. Very nice, useful tool to have Halloween and Easter pretty much on opposite ends of the year. And so when they have leftover candies, we basically milk that as their dessert throughout the year until it's time to restock at the next holiday. And so, yeah, we have some leftover Halloween candy for
Valentine's is coming soon, so.
Valentine's is.
Need some nerd clusters. We're out.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
I like it. So you're going to blindfold yourself. I'm going to get out.
It's great.
I have a few different types of candy. We can play however long you want.
Okay.
But I want to test to see how good your knowledge is on some of these candies. And you might be able to hear at home. But I'm just going to open this up. And I'm going to hand this to you. And Georgia woke up. So she now smells.
It's a square?
It is a square. I mean, all these are bite-sized. So
there's a Three Musketeer. No.
Ooh.
There's caramel.
Mm-hmm.
And not.
No, it is?
There's caramel. Not Snickers because they have nuts in it. There's Milky Way, Snickers. Oh, what is it? I'm gonna kick myself.
Go for it.
It's caramel, like a Three Musketeers with caramel. I don't know. What is it?
Well, you said some options out there. You got to land on one. Just land on one.
Not Three Musketeers, but I know there's.
Sorry. No, it's not as fluffy as the Three Musketeers, but it is a Milky Way.
Oh.
You named it. You said it out there.
I did?
Yeah. We said Milky Way. What else has caramel? Snickers, Milky Way. You were in the ballpark.
Oh.
All right. So if you need to take a pause, or you're good.
Kit Kat. No, this is a Twix.
You are correct. That was a Twix.
Yeah.
She was quick on the quick Kit Kat.
That one's good. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you. I'll eat that in a minute. Let me get you another option.
I like this game.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Any ideas out there for husbands and wives for you to enjoy a game together?
Yeah.
Candy guessing games. Clutch.
Oh, no, it's another square.
Yeah.
Oh, Snickers.
You know the Snickers. That's correct.
Yeah, that has nuts. I know that one. Here, there's another option for you.
Oh, that goes down in the crack of the chair. Hope that doesn't melt. All right.
How many more?
I'm trying to be 2 more.
Okay.
This one might throw you for a loop.
That feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know if they can read this label, but
It just feels like one of those candies that you get at fundraisers for like baseball kids, that
Yeah.
come in that like triangle
Yeah, that you can
kinda
break off
pyramid thing.
sections. Uh-huh.
And it starts with a T.
Oh, I don't even remember the name of those.
Oh, this has peanut butter. Does this have peanut butter?
That's a good question. I'm going to look at the ingredients. Milk, soy,
No.
and in Spanish, that's late soya. Soya.
Is this some of your
That's all it
my
says.
mic. Is this some of your candy you brought back from Peru?
No.
Oh. I don't know. It's very yummy though.
I'm going to show you the label, but it's called the Kinder Bar.
Oh, well, I like Kinder Bar.
Kinder Bar. Shout out.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Okay, last one. And you are batting.
Oh, this
What was
is
that?
Kit Kat. You don't even need to eat
I
that.
should have broke off a chunk of it.
Yeah.
Should have broke off a section. Yeah, that's Kit Kat. I did have 2 other options. One was in this world famous shape that I think it would give it away too easily.
Yeah.
And this one just wasn't in the realm of chocolate. But
Oh,
my favorite growing up,
my great grandma had that in her
because
candy
my
drawer.
grandparents had this in their candy drawer.
Now that and like caramel, the old caramel stuff.
Bub, you did so good.
Sorry.
I think it was
I just
4
don't
out of
feel
5
like
or
eating every single one.
oh, it was delicious. I might knock out some of that too.
Okay.
But why were you doing chocolate?
Because we are gonna go back. We did the Sandlot. We
Mhm.
have done a movie talk before.
Yeah.
So I felt like we maybe should do another movie that you love to talk about.
I do love to talk about a movie.
This is probably one of your top. Is it your top favorite movie? Or is it?
When it comes to the theological dynamics of a movie, as a Bible nerd, this is one of my top favorite movies.
We're gonna talk about Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka,
Yeah.
Chocolate Factory. And the question I want to pose to you before we jump into Wonka.
Which one's better, the original or the? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, by far the original, not even close.
Johnny Depp tried.
I'll say why too, but my question for you is, what was exactly the fall of humanity?
What was the fall in Genesis?
Yeah.
The fall was when the sin entered the world.
Yes, that is the general, story of what happens at the fall. What, I guess, exactly did Adam and Eve do wrong that separated them or consequented them to be kicked out of the garden?
Disobeyed. I mean, they didn't follow the rule. Like,
Yeah, you're within Christian orthodoxy, no problem.
yeah,
Yeah, they disobeyed God's command of
right. Don't eat from this tree.
yeah, tree of knowledge of good and evil,
Mhm.
right? And so that's a question I just want to kind of keep in the back of our mind as we talk about Willy Wonka, because I think Willy Wonka, the I will say the screenwriter of Willy Wonka, poses a different reason for why Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden. And I think it's interesting. I think it's a voice that should be included in the conversation.
Okay. Now, before we get into the whole talk of Willy Wonka,
Uh-huh.
So once again, this is one of our things. If you've been in any of our youth groups, you pretty much have heard Ben talk about Willy Wonka in the eyes of Scripture.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat when you speak about the director and like the whole backstory before you get into the story.
Yeah, and I'm not great with names,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna kind of put placeholders of guy that wrote the book versus guy that wrote the screenwrite and the director and all that. So quick backstory on Willy Wonka is interesting because it's a book about the inventor creator of candy and all these kind of things, and the invitation to the world to come and taste the candy to run the factory one day. And that's cool. There's a lot more details in the book that I don't have time to go over because it's not as interesting as I think the Gene Wilder version of Willy Wonka from the 70s provides, because the movie had a Jewish screenwriter. And so the screenwriter takes the book and then makes it TV ready or movie ready, to where it cuts up the sections of book that might help with the overarching narrative of the story. But the screenwriter totally changed the message of the story,
Hmm.
which I think is fascinating. And he made it more biblical, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm a Bible nerd. But the author of the book was actually kind of mad about this. He was kind of mad. He got a ton of money for a movie
Right.
deal, but he was kind of mad. It's like, this isn't my work. This is not my art. This is not my message.
Mm.
And so that was a frustration point for the original author of the book.
Interesting.
But yeah, Jewish screenwriter, which is cool.
Which is cool. Which is how probably more of this theological stance is sprinkled throughout with the eyes to see it.
100%. Yeah, I don't see any other any other reason other than this screenwriter must have grown up in the church, in the synagogue, and learned lessons about the Bible and had a certain view. Which I love the Hebrew and the Jewish perspective on Scripture, and so I think he does a pretty decent job of representing this in the movie.
Mm.
Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, let me talk about this. There's 4 components to creating a worldview. Everyone has to have an answer or a possible, faith to hold on to answers to these questions. So every worldview that's ever cultivated has an origin story. We need to, as humans, to make sense, to have peace and experience peace. We need to have an origin where everything came from. So in our postmodern American culture, that we grew up in public school system to where we're educated with an origin story. What's the predominant origin story of our culture?
Pangea.
Pangea is part. Yeah, Pangea is the thing.
The Big Bang.
Big Bang. Yeah, and then you got the stardust and the evolution, and
Right.
life kind of comes out of that. Yeah, which is cool because the first person to propose the Big Bang theory was a Catholic priest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our generation, and probably a few others, have done this weird thing of disassociating our faith from science, because there's this like culture war thing that happens.
Yeah.
And so it's either you're us or you're with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a more recent development,
Mm-hmm.
because Christianity is sort of what gave birth to exploring God's creation.
Yeah.
Because the wonders of the curiosities of being made in God's image. Like, anyway, science is birthed out of Christian thought and Christian morals.
Yeah.
And out of compassion, finding answers to how to help people, things like that. So, yeah, that's a fun conversation.
Yeah.
So you have to have an origin story. Then you have to identify what the problem is, because there's problems in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Every worldview has identified a problem. More recently, most worldviews are on injustices, people or creatures not being treated right, those kind of problems.
Yeah.
And so every worldview then has to come up with a solution for those problems. So that's the third component. And then every worldview has to have an end. So everyone wants to explain how this whole thing ends, right? So that's the basic components of a worldview. And obviously Christianity addresses them all. Buddhism addresses them all. Atheism even addresses them all.
I think everyone has one, whether they realize they do or don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So theology is something that all of us do.
Yeah.
It's just like innate in our human experience, is to think about things outside of humanity and the powers and principalities and the invisible dynamics, and whether it's called metaphysics or whatever. Like, it's every one of us has these curiosities. And so in the Jewish worldview, obviously the creation starts with this Genesis 1 and 2 narrative. There's 2 different creation narratives. And not to get into the weeds of the Yahwist versus the Elohist perspectives, but you have 2 different creation narratives. Ultimately, it's about who God is and the character of who God is, and where we all came from was a good God.
Yeah.
And so a good creation was made by a good God, and then it was empowered to be ruled by good people.
Mm-hmm.
People were made good
Yeah,
because
very
we're
good.
made in God's image.
Right.
Very good. Nice call out.
Very good.
Good.
Yeah.
But then there's this problem that happens where this outside force comes to woman, comes to man too. He's right there alongside of her, according to the narrative, and just starts poking doubts, right? Back to our callback to last episode of
Yeah.
whether doubt is good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts planting these seeds of doubt in the mind of
Eve.
people,
Mhm.
of saying, does God really have what's best for you in mind? You have this option. You can rule God's way, and this is all paraphrased.
Yeah.
You can rule God's way and be obedient to him, or you could choose to be disobedient, back to your reason of the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be disobedient and live your own way and rule the way that you want to rule. All right.
Yeah. That you think is better. Because I think Adam and Eve's thought was like, if we know as much as God, this will be better.
Yeah.
Like they thought
Well,
that would be
Eve
better.
saw that it was good, like it was appealing. It looked pretty, this fruit did. And it was good for wisdom. Like she wanted to grow in wisdom. And wisdom's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge of good and evil isn't necessarily a bad thing. But it was more about the idea of, I'm going to take this for myself,
Right.
and not learn this God's way. Like eventually, if you were to explore like God's nature
Mm-hmm.
toward us, is to give us wisdom.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't need to get wisdom as quickly as we do.
Right.
Like sometimes I don't know, temptation,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, I'm a kid, I'm naive, I jump into something, I start telling a lie, and I learn the difference between good and bad by experience because I did something bad.
Right.
But God does want us to learn what's right and wrong
Mm-hmm.
his way, and we choose our way.
Yeah.
Is what the narrative is pointing out.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a good example. I mean, it explains it well. When the last thing that you just said, like how people need to go experience them themselves. So, like, so many times we hear people's testimonies of like, yeah, my breaking generational curses, and I saw my dad drink or something, but I had to go do it myself. And now I hope my kids don't do it. Or other people are
Yeah.
like, well, they're just going to have their season of it too. Like, they're going to have to learn their own way and probably go to college and enjoy college this way. It just is. I think we sometimes look at Adam and Eve's story and think like, "Oh, why did they do it?" Like we mess up and we think we
All the
want to
time.
get our own knowledge
Yes.
our own way all the time.
And that's why it's an eternal story.
Right.
Like it's not just a once it happened and then set the rest of humanity on this course or all of creation on this course. Like
Mhm.
that's a take on scripture, which is good and valuable. But also we can't lose the fact that this is an eternal cycle
Yeah.
that humanity is in. And we, humanity, Adam's name means humanity.
Mhm.
And so we can find ourselves in the same temptations, the same powers, the same dynamics, forces outside of ourselves that want to oppose even our parents.
Yeah.
You know, God put parents or grandparents in charge of us. They tell us things that we shouldn't do, give us healthy boundaries, and we push those boundaries and we push those limits. Just it's innate, right? Because we have these seeds of doubt and destruction. It's like,
But I need
I
to
don't
see
believe you.
why. Yeah.
Right.
I need to see why.
It's weird how most cultures throughout human civilizations, like looking at the Amish, there was this famous TV show, Breaking Amish,
Oh,
before Breaking Bad, right? I'm
yes.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Interesting title choices. But
That's
anyways,
not even in the same realm.
I don't know. Maybe there's
shows.
connection there.
No.
But Breaking Amish was this story to explore when an Amish young person met the age of accountability, like when they became a older teenager and they're like, I kind of want to see what's out there. And the Amish would graciously allow them to break away from the pack.
They have a season where they can go choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a prodigal child.
Mm-hmm.
And they go and they look at the world and they live in the world, and all the principles, all the morals, all the teachings, all the foundations that the parents and the community have instilled in these kids gets put to the test.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid after the end is like, well, I kind of want to oppose all those teachings and go my own way. Or I've seen the value and the wisdom in those teachings. I kind of want to go back.
Yeah.
So you have this choice, and very gracious community. They allow people to come back. Obviously, they have anyway. That's a whole tangent.
Yeah.
But in other cultures, there's the same thing. In African tribes, there's this go to the mountain summit and like go explore your manhood, go in the wilderness and go have your time with God or the divine being that culture is talking about. So it's just this deep thing in humanity is to question our authorities, our foundations, and to explore the knowledge of good and evil.
Hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we see that in our kids every day and
Mhm.
probably our own lives too if we examine that more.
For sure.
So, how does that caveat into the beginning of the movie?
Okay. So Willy Wonka premise, right? You get this dull gray town. It's like not very lively. It's filmed in Technicolor, but when it's outside of Willy Wonka's factory, the world is kind of dim and
Mhm.
dull and gray. And there's a bunch of characters in this movie, but they all represent stuff.
Yeah.
And but yeah, for example, Wonka represents God. It's it's pretty like obvious.
Yeah.
Think of the only source of goodness and joy and vibrant color that's tasted in the world. Like
Mhm.
the world is buzzing when a new Wonka bar comes out
Yeah.
or a new Wonka flavor is introduced. And like, this is the source of goodness.
Mhm.
This is the source of joy, of love, of laughter. Like, all comes from Wonka's factory.
Yeah, and this potential of hope too, right?
Nice.
Like hope matters so much, especially when you're in a season of nothing else brings me joy. Like
Yeah,
so to have hope in something brings life to those that may not have much.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Charlie, one of the main characters, has this weird dynamic where all of his grandparents are like on a bed.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just an awkward thing. But I think it's a time of his setting and culture and context that the author is trying to like place him in this like Great Depression ish
Mhm.
like place in I don't know, somewhere. So anyway, it's just a weird dynamic and that's a weird thing. And obviously there's a lot of quirks to the story that don't obviously line up one to one with the Bible.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that this grandpa is laying like dormant to just like mooch off of other people, like his kids that are taking care of him and grandkids, and does nothing until the fact like he brings home this Wonka bar, and now grandpa's up and dancing.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's
you
go.
holding back, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could have been doing something productive, right? So I think that's like a glimpse into his character
Mhm.
for later reasons. But it's just in this world, it's dull, it's dark, and the only source of goodness is Wonka's factory. Where if you look at the opening sequence, there's like trucks that back up to the factory, but no driver or no person ever goes into Wonka's factory.
Mm.
Like there's these people with roles inside of the factory that Wonka delegates the responsibility of creating and making and then serving Wonka. And
Mhm.
essentially, these are the Oompa Loompas, which equal angels, right? And so these Oompa Loompas have this task, this responsibility of operating things within this little micro kingdom.
I don't normally picture angels in the facet of Oompa
Oompa
Loompa.
Loompas,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. I mean, even though I think side tangent, angels the way we picture them in our head
Yeah,
now probably aren't the way that angels look anyways. Like we're
definitely.
probably way off, but I don't think Oompa Loompa is the right direction. Much stronger
Yeah, I think the angels don't
warrior.
have the wings.
Right, no
The
wings.
cherubim will,
Yeah.
but not the angelic beings that we
Yeah.
think of.
We don't have to go into that, but I'm just
It's a good
saying.
conversation,
Yeah.
though.
I think we have the premise of
Yeah,
angels off already, but Oompa Loompa was definitely not where I was thinking.
yeah, it's like God's helpers,
Yeah.
and they're within the heavenly realm, and so that's what they're doing in there is helping God, Wonka, get the goodness and the joy and all of this stuff, tastes of his kingdom all throughout the world.
Distributed. Yep.
But then he has this crazy cool idea to invite anyone from anywhere, which just so happens to frustratingly land on only white people, but supposed to go all across the world and invite these people, which may be a thing of privilege, and maybe that's a part of it. Is like not everyone can afford to buy a Wonka bar
Right.
in this movie. Anyways, there's a whole tangent there, but theologically, the invitation for all humanity
Was
to enter the garden,
mhm.
right? To enter into God's domain, this place where God and humans can both intermingle and live life together, is the picture of Eden. Especially Genesis 2 version, where the temple is actually laid out, where God is over here. He makes man in his own image. And then to the east, he plants a garden. He puts man in that garden. Then, after man's sin, they get sent eastward. And then, after Cain and Abel come to the door and offer offerings and sacrifices, then Cain, because Abel's dead, gets sent eastward. And so you have this blueprints of the Holy of Holies, and then Eden, which is like the holy, inside of the tabernacle. And then you have the outer, like the inner courts, I guess, where the sacrifices were made. And there's the door with the cherubim on there, which represent flaming fire that's protecting Eden in the narrative. All of this is Bible nerdery that if you just read through Genesis 1 through 4, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then kind of Cain kills Abel, sin out. Anyway, yes, Eden is God's kingdom where God and man, which is what the temple is, God and man can both dwell together. Mm-hmm. Now, cool foreshadowing is the temple is destroyed and the temple becomes Jesus' body, and then we become, as believers, Jesus' body. And so God and man dwell in the temple, which is us, which is cool.
Boom.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is cool how Eden is portrayed in Wonka, because the first scene, well, Wonka's kind of crazy. He's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Right? He's this first sight of him. Everyone's at the gates, like watching Wonka, and he walks up with his cane, acting all old and decrepit. But then all of a sudden, Kane gets stuck in the thing, which this is all improv by Gene Wilder.
I heard he did a lot of improv. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Pretty cool. Uh-huh. And so he puts the cane in there, and it's like stuck in the ground, and he walks, and he falls down, and then he does like a somersault, and he jumps up. He's like, I'm just messing. I'm not this old and decrepit dude. Yeah. I'm actually just fine. Got my full capabilities. Yeah. But like C.S. Lewis says that, with talking about Aslan, like God is just untamable. Like, but Aslan is good. God is good, but we just can't predict him. Yeah. He doesn't fit in our boxes nice and neat. He's beyond our comprehension and does things that are unpredictable and unexpected. Yeah. But also he does things that he has foretold us that he's going to do, and he's faithful. Mm-hmm. So he's good. So Wonka invites people to partner with him, and they go into the first kind of like space. But do you remember what it looks like?
The first space?
Yeah.
Well, don't they have to like sign something?
Yeah.
To like
sign some agreement, some liability.
Yeah, they go in there, and then the first place is the garden.
Yeah.
With the chocolate. I mean, I guess I have chocolate on my mind. Chocolate River.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when you see the Oompa Loompas, right?
And for me, it's scripture. It's like, this is Garden of Eden language. Mm. Like, this is trying to get us to think about this, where Wonka and all these human, potential partners are brought to this one space, and everything is edible. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool idea from the authors, but also like theologically, it's like everything is good for eating. Mm-hmm. Every plant, I should say, is good for eating in Genesis.
Yeah.
No animals were deemed good until after Noah.
Yeah.
So that's fun, right? So the wheels keep spinning. And do you remember when, and this is kind of a bigger conversation, do you remember when each child got their ticket, that there's a character that popped up?
Oh, yeah. It's like a little guy in a black suit, and he's like very serious, and he didn't ever say anything.
No.
He's just kind of there.
Well, he didn't say anything to the camera or to the audience, but he said something to
the people?
The kids.
It's been a long time. But yeah I remember kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so he like whispers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We never heard what he said, right?
No.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. But later it comes out what he did say.
Okay.
So anyway, this guy, I forget his name. I'm not fresh on my stuff. Bad podcasting, not to be prepared with all these names. But he would come up, and it was uniquely, I think it was like on the left side and left shoulder, representing like the angel and demon thing from like cartoons of old. Yeah. And he spoke to each one of these candidates or contestants that won the golden ticket and whisper into their ear. And then for Charlie specifically, he's not on that side, he's on the other side. Mm. So he's like representing both good and evil in this weird hybrid role that he's got. Not to spoil everything, because this movie is over 50 years old.
I think most people would say.
But this guy represents the Satan.
Mhm.
And in Jewish theology, before we get to Christian theology, and that's influenced a lot by Greek cultures and things like that, in Jewish theology, you have this role of Hasatan, which, if you read the book of Job, it's very clear in that. Like, Satan is in the divine council.
Mm.
And as God is testing the character, testing the righteousness of people on earth, it's the adversary, the prosecuting attorney.
Mhm.
It's his job in this courtroom to probe and question and test the character of all these
Yeah,
individuals.
I'm gonna ask you on something you just said though. You
Yes.
said as God is testing the people.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people have a problem or don't agree that God tests people.
Okay.
But do you so what's your stance on that?
God tests people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. And it says it over and over throughout Scripture that he tests us. Now James will say God doesn't tempt us.
Mhm.
That's I guess, a different malicious intent
Yeah.
to cause us to stumble. But ultimately, so this thing with free will is fascinating. Um, all my Calvinist friends would be like, this is just an illusion of having free will, but God ultimately knows what we're going to do. In the Bible, the way God is depicted,
Mhm.
it's like he has to test his characters, his chosen people, to see if they truly trust him.
Yeah.
Obviously, the most famous is Abraham. Bible Project has a great video called The Test,
Mhm.
where they kind of talk about a few of those archetypes who get tested.
Mhm.
But in the end, how does God truly know that you are faithful to him if you're not tested? You
Yeah,
think?
so I just didn't know if you think God is testing them or if he's allowing opportunity for Satan to test. And is
Okay.
there a difference?
In the Jewish theology, in the OGs, it's not as much of a difference as you might be thinking.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter.
Because, well, it,
'Cause
it does, but it doesn't. Like, God is one God over all gods.
Mhm.
But in Jewish theology, they weren't like monotheistic in the
Yeah.
sense of like there's only one God ever of all time, but they were open to the other categories that there are lesser gods,
Hmm.
whether they be called demons or what. But Dagon, like these other gods from these enemies of theirs,
Right.
were just less powerful. All the gods that God Yahweh defeated in Egypt,
Right.
like those were legitimate gods, lesser gods
Mhm.
in the eyes of the Israelite people. To us, we look back and it's like, well, you know, God's above all. God's the only actual real God.
Right.
But there are real powers and principalities that are anti God
Hmm.
because this is part of free will and the
Right.
nature of the serpent and the garden, things like that. So yeah, this it's just a fun exploration theologically to kind of source, one, is testing legit and why is testing happening
Mhm.
versus temptation. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But then two, I guess the empowerment and the dignity we get as humans to have free will and to make those choices.
Mhm.
And so in Jewish thought, the guy that is whispering in the ear, the Satan, Hasatan, which is a role,
Mhm.
not a proper name. Hasatan. Every time you see it in the Bible, it's Hasatan. It's the Satan, not capital S Satan. So it's a
Yeah.
role that's being played. Even Jesus calls one of his disciples, "Get behind me,
Interesting. Yeah.
Satan." Right? It's like, okay, this is Peter Satan here, or is Satan a possibility within any of us
Mm.
that oppose God's will or want to choose to do what Adam and Eve did and trust the serpent voice and question whether or not God is truly doing what is good and
Yeah.
what is right. So anyway, in the end, you see when it's revealed that dude works for Wonka.
Hmm.
So this is the screenwriters like doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Wonka hired he works for Wonka,
Yeah.
hired this guy to go and question and test these contestants.
Mm.
And their job was to go infiltrate Wonka's factory, find the secrets, find the secret sauce, take something and bring it back so that they could basically manufacture it and copy it and duplicate it as an imitator.
Mhm.
And to test their loyalty, Wonka had this guy play this role to
Mhm.
see if they were gonna like sell him out or not,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool to
Mhm.
think about that
Yeah.
because it's in alignment with the divine counsel, with questioning Job's character and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
What you got? Any questions? Any weird?
No, I'm tracking. I'm tracking with you.
Yeah.
So after that part, and they're all in the Garden of Eden, and the first one decides to not follow the rules.
Yeah, 7 deadly sins are making their
Appearance.
appearances, obviously within 4 people, but gluttony, the dude's name is Augustus Gloop.
Gloop, yeah.
Like, so he's a bigger kid, nothing against the actor or anything like that, but it's, he's can't stop himself
Right.
from consuming this river of goodness,
Mhm.
which again, back to Eden imagery, this river of chocolate, and he ultimately falls into it and quote unquote dies because of it.
Yeah.
He's just kicked out of the garden. Look at her, stiff legged and everything.
She's like, I gotta adjust.
Dreaming.
Yeah.
So anyway, gluttony is represented. There's the vanity. There's the pride. I forget materialism. But there's so much selfishness in these other characters, and Charlie's held out to be different. Charlie is our hero here, but he's held out to be a little bit different. He's thoughtful. Even in the beginning, he was thoughtful of his grandparents to use whatever spare change he had to buy them something, and then Grandpa surprises him with a nice gift to go buy him something. So he's just a generous, kind-hearted character throughout this whole experience. And so anyway, Charlie's tested as well. And I would argue that the grandpa becomes the Satan.
Mm.
He becomes the tempter.
Yeah.
He actually, and it's kind of a hybrid mosh pot, but I'll explain why in a second. But there's this scene where there's no accountability, or it seems like they could do something and Wonka won't find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the grandpa entices him, lures him over into this weird thing to eat, this thing that makes them burp or makes them like grow and fly.
Yeah.
So anyway, he seduces Charlie to take a bite of this fruit that was forbidden. Wonka's like, don't eat it. It's not tested. It's not safe. All that kind of stuff. He goes against Wonka's command, right? God's command. Don't eat of this fruit. So the grandpa becomes like the serpent in this moment. He lures Wonka to make this mistake, or I'm sorry, Charlie to make this mistake. And they come close to death. Like that's the consequence in the Bible is eating of this fruit, you will surely die.
Yeah.
So like this is represented by them like elevating to the middle of this wind tunnel with the fan blades, and they're getting up there. Funnily, they just burp and they come back down. They're safe. But they think that they get away with this. They think that no one knows about this. And so anyway, later they keep going, and he takes one of these I can't remember if he took it because the grandpa told him to take it, or if Wonka gave him this as I can't remember this part. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
But later, the confrontation happens. Wonka is sitting in the office, and this is kind of a cool moment too. But there's the final scene. Y'all should look up all these YouTube clips because they're so cool. All these
watch the movie.
Watch the whole movie, but it's easier when it's clipped up, so it's not you don't get lost in all the other details.
We were talking earlier. We wish we could put the clips in here, as we talk about them, but we don't understand all the plagiarism.
Yeah, we don't know copyright laws.
Yeah, that's more.
And how much we have to pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you know that kind of detail,
fancier maybe as
that'd
we
be awesome.
Understand that stuff. But for right now, you're gonna have to go find the clips on your own. Sorry about that.
So there's a clip at the end of Willy Wonka, the original, of the office scene, or he's basically in his office and everything is half done. And I think the director came up with this detail just from a silliness factor, but I think it's still part of the theological conversation of something isn't right when humanity hasn't fully partnered with God. Like God is so cool and so generous, and God is God and we're not, and we are nothing without God.
Yeah.
And God is totally fully self-sufficient, in love, perfect Trinity dynamics happening here. But there's still something off when humanity can't be fully partnered with God in Eden. This is why the whole story of the Bible is pointing us back to Eden, because it's something we need to go back to.
Right.
So anyway, something's not right with all of creation until we are fully reconciled back to God. And so I think this is also demonstrated in everything being half what it is, half clock, half desk, half cabinet, which is funny because you can't lock the cabinet because of the half that's missing. So anyway, Wonka's in there just doing paperwork or whatever. doing his own thing. And Charlie and Grandpa come in and it's like, hey, did we win? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Because the deal is you come through this factory and you make it through, you, well, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah.
that's not part of it. But you get like unlimited chocolate
Yeah.
for the rest of your life. It's like lifetime supply of chocolate. And they're like, you lose. Good day, sir. And he goes on this tirade, which more detail is like Gene Wilder totally did that unexpected. Like the rage that he puts in this character um, actually scared the kid child actor.
Authentic.
Like it was a
Yeah.
legit response, like "Oh my!" and the
Yeah.
kid like almost went into tears. Like it was authentic, genuine response.
Yeah.
But the reason he did that, well, theologically, is like this unexpected rage that we see out of God sometimes, like in the Bible especially. But that's not his nature. That's not his heart. But it's just what comes out.
Yeah.
And that wake up call sometimes is what we need as people. But I don't think Gene Wilder was thinking any theology. He
Right.
just wanted the shock and awe. But he goes to this weird reason. So it's like based on you don't think I saw you eat the fizzy fruit or whatever it was. You don't think I have to now send my Oompa Loompas to go and decontaminate the ceilings because y'all touched everything in that chamber? Like you broke the law, you broke the rule, and here's this weird, random, inconspicuous rule, chapter, section 118, letter D, like subsegment A or whatever. Like he quotes this weird, inconspicuous rule that no one knows all the rules.
Right.
And I think he's alluding to the Jewish law where there's 613 laws that they have to keep. It's like, how are you going to keep up with 613 laws? So it's one of those things like you broke the law, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And so you have here this picture of when God confronts humanity about their sin and disobedience. And then Adam in the Bible does something interesting. He blames God. It's the woman that you sent me. Yeah. And so it's what the grandpa says is fascinating because he becomes Adam in this moment where he's like, you're a crook. You are nothing but you tease all these kids, you give them all this empty hope and you don't deliver on your promises. Like this kind of going back to his original posture in life. Like he's not a productive member of society. He's just laying there in a bed thinking he knows all the answers. But his view of God is so off. And I think this is what we often fall into.
Yeah.
Is we as victims of injustice or things that our parents did to us or whatever, like bad things happen in this world, sin exists in this world, and it corrupts our view of who God is. And I'll be quick because there's so much more.
I know.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot and you're not talking a lot.
No,
I
that's
like
okay.
your voice better than my voice.
Well, you have a lot more in-depth view of this movie than I do. But I think people find that fascinating and it opens our eyes to continue to look at other movies to see if they can find these glimmers. And I don't have that mind triggered that way. So, but yeah, you've got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Before you got to wrap it up. So pick your.
So anyway, Willy Wonka basically is like accused as being a crook, criminal by the grandpa, and they turn to leave the office, and he's like, "Good day, you lose, goodbye.
Yeah,
you don't get anything." And on the way out, Charlie does the most unexpected thing. That's not provoked. It was genuine, and it was the right thing to do. He repented in the words of the Jewish language. Is like to repent means to turn around.
Yeah.
So he's walking out the door with his grandpa. He turns around, comes back, and he legitimately, unprovoked, without thinking there's any reward, he puts down the piece of candy that was given to him, and then he says, "I'm sorry." And I don't remember if he asked for forgiveness or whatever, but he just says, "I'm sorry," like authentic remorse for what he did. And he repented and all that. I think that's vital because then you see Willy Wonka turn around and he's like, "You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. I'm so proud of you, my son." Like that switch from him being so angry, so violent, talking to the kid, to being all loving and "you're my son."
Yeah.
Like that language even to me, deems part of this kind of interaction here, like if Adam and Eve repented, owned up to their mistakes, and said, "I'm sorry," would they have been cast out of the Eden?
Mm,
Or is it because Adam and Eve blamed God, blamed each other, blamed the serpent for them doing wrong, that they never took ownership?
yeah.
If that is one of the prophetic critiques that we need to receive, and I think that's what the screenwriter of Willy Wonka was trying to communicate, is if you repent,
Hmm.
if you authentically come to God, say you're sorry, don't expect anything in return,
Right.
here's how God would react with the love, with the grace, with how we see Jesus.
Hmm.
And so, anyway, I think that's a fun perspective to take on a Jewish interpretation of the Old Testament, of the fall story, of why humanity was cast out of Eden.
Yeah. I think that was really fun. I think it's a fun conversation. I think it is. I think it's neat to
You're so
see.
nice.
Well, I like thinking big brain. My brain doesn't go there all the time, but you challenge me to do that. So hopefully this challenged other people to, see that and maybe go and watch the movie. We're supposed to get potentially some crazy amount of
Oh, yeah.
snow this coming weekend here
Yeah,
in
I was going to
Denver.
make a comment because your scarf that you use as a blindfold
Oh
might
yeah,
come in handy.
might come in handy. But I'm just saying maybe it'll be a weekend you're at home and need a movie to watch.
Go for it.
Go watch
Willy
Willy
Wonka
Wonka,
all the way.
the
And then,
OG Willy
as a
Wonka.
family, crack open Genesis 2 through Genesis 4 and
See
see if you see well,
the
especially
correlation.
3, but
Yeah,
see if you see the common things.
see the correlations in there. It could be a fun little, yeah, something to do
Yeah, why
other
not?
other than playing in the snow, of course. Well,
And other quick
maybe.
update
Oh
with
yeah,
True Life. So February 1st, weather permitting, because we're supposed to get a blanket this weekend and another blanket next weekend, and that might make the roads not safe. But
yeah, we'll see.
weather permitting, February 1st will
Yeah,
be our first preparation gathering.
yeah, and preparation gathering. Like we talk about this a lot. Weird lingo with launching a church
Yeah.
or just churchies in general. Sometimes there's like church words that mean,
Christianese,
yeah, Christianese is,
churchanese.
yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
So preparation is just us really what that word means. Like we're ready to get the church started and getting ready to launch hope come this fall.
That's right.
And so we want to start meeting. Gosh, I can't wait. Like Sundays we've told y'all we've been rotating from different churches and being poured into and gleaning wisdom, but there's something about meeting regularly on Sundays and worshiping that we're just really excited to be able to do with our community and just get our hearts aligned and excited to reach our community more.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really exciting. And we've been doing that through Root Group on Wednesdays. And so that we will definitely have that this week as well.
Hmm.
Back at Mott's Grove. And we have some exciting stuff. So,
Yeah. A lot of cool things. And we're excited, and we hope you enjoy these conversations. And if so, come and join us.
yeah.
Be part of our community if you have the ability. Obviously, I do want to give a shout out to Aunt Teresa,
Oh, yeah. That was
because
a
this
fun.
past Sunday we missed going to service because we traveled down to Florida. She asked me to baptize her probably about a month or a month and a half ago, and so we got to make that drive down there and be part of that incredible experience.
Yeah.
So, just grateful to watch God work in all facets of life,
Mhm.
and I'm excited for the next chapter, what He has for us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we hope you guys have a great week and bear good fruit.
God bless you.